Desi Donnelly first moved into defence for a league tie against Tipperary last February, where he marked Fox, incidentally. He limited him to 2 points on that occasion and managed to score one himself. Michael Cleary stepping up for this sideline ball. 26, nearly 27 minutes gone in the first half. Well cut in, McKeegan, secure. Good fetch. Smart stroke out of defence, but only as far as John Kennedy. The tip half-backs pressing forward, looking for that loose ball, but unable to turn it to any great value on that occasion. Tip with a lot of possession. Kennedy annoyed with himself, quite furious. I hope he can't lip read. And Captain Bobby Ryan rallying his forces at centre half-back. Meanwhile, Patterson with the puck out. Tip with just a very gentle breeze in this first half. Again, it's Kennedy. He is really wound up. They're all out. Colin Bonner towards Michael Cleary. Colin Bonner again. Superb in midfield. Through two defenders. One of them, Leonard McKeegan, and the referee sees that Dominic McKinley concedes the free that time. Nicky English going back to retrieve the ball, and he will be the one, I think, who will take the free from around the 45-metre line. It was a lovely run through that time. And finally, Dominic McKinley, with that wild stroke, which you're not allowed to do in hurling, concedes the free. Hurling a very disciplined game. And English, as always, superb. 1-8 for Tipperary, 3 points for Antrim. English with 5 points of that impressive tally so far.
Now Kieran Barr started like a storm at right half forward, but John Kennedy got completely on top of him. Barr may have spent himself out in that spell. Now, surprisingly, he's moved to midfield, where Tip have been dominating. Kennedy is playing outstandingly well, but for me at the moment, Tip's best player is the green-helmeted Colin Bonner at midfield.
And it's his brother Connell who chips in the sideline cut. Down towards Pat Fox, read by Gary O'Kane. Good block down by Pat Fox. Cormac Bonner spreading terror again in the Antrim ranks. Oh, nice vision, linking up back there with John Lahey. Spotting he was free in a cute angle, but wide of the target, and that's Tipperary's 8th wide of this first half. Antrim have 5, and only 3 Antrim points so far from Paul McKillen, Brian Donnelly, and Elkin McPetridge with a free. Barr towards Dominic McMullen, now playing at right half forward, marked by Kennedy superbly. That's superb timing. It's 8 minutes now since Antrim have scored in this All-Ireland final, but watch one of the great skills of the game of hurling. Kennedy going in with the block, keeping his eyes on the ball at all times. It was perfect timing, great wrist work, and super determination. It's cut delightfully in, could have gone anywhere, but there's a push on one of the defenders, and the referee signals a free out for Tipperary. So an 8-point difference. No sign of any movement across on the Antrim bench so far, with 5 minutes to go before half-time. But there is a substitute there in the background, but I don't think he's warming up. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see Danny McNaughton introduced at some future stage. Meanwhile, it's Declan Carr. Ambitiously in, high and over the crossbar. First point comes with just over 4 minutes remaining in the first half, stretching Tipperary's lead, a lead of 9 points. That, incidentally, was Declan Carr's first point in this year's championship, a championship in which Tipperary beat Limerick, Waterford, Galway, and are now lording it against Antrim. Can they bridge the 18-year gap? On the evidence of the first half so far, the answer has to be yes. English steadying himself. Superb! His 6th point of the match. 110 to 3 points. And English crediting some of those out around the field, making it possible for him to notch such scores and delighting Babs Keating, Donny Nealon there getting off his knees, and so many other members of the Tipperary bench.
Well, an example there of the slackness of Antrim's marking. Look at the time that English had between getting possession, stopping, looking, and actually picking a spot. At this level, he should not be allowed that sort of time.
Terence McNaughton. And that one has gone over the bar. A Antrim's fourth point. Terence McNaughton's first. In the 1943 final, they scored only 4 points, and now, 3 minutes before half-time, well, at least they've reached that tally, but they'd want an awful lot more. Kieran Barr beaten by John Leahy, and another one. The shots now simply raining in there in front of Niall Patterson's goal, and John Leahy from Mullinahone has got a second. 3 minutes before the interval. The spread of scores very impressive right now among the Tipperary forwards. Cormac Bonner is the only one so far who's failed to score, but he's been involved in engineering some of the moves that led to scores. Paul McKillen, that's up neatly as far as Brian Donnelly, still knees on the ground, linking up with Donal Armstrong, turning. Antrim needing a goal to boost their hopes before the second half. It breaks out to Declan Carr, however. Across here to John Leahy. Nice style, good switch, swivel of the hips. To Pat Fox, getting there ahead of his man Desi Donnelly. Still Fox. Hand passing outside to Nicky English, turning inside the challenge, and another one. 6-7 points now for Nicky English. 3 of those have come from play, but he really has been a master leader in attack, and that's the tally they've amassed with just over 2 minutes to go before the half-time whistle. The goal which Antrim conceded after 18 minutes to Declan Ryan, that really was a stern body blow, because Tip have picked up the tempo of the match. And look at this for style, panache and skill by English. Tried to round Terry Donnelly, stopped, and it's gone for a 65. The referee, I think, allowed an advantage that time because English appeared to be fouled as he was going through. This was the move again by Nicky English. Gary O'Kane a good 7 yards behind him at this stage. Really having no luck. Watch for Terry Donnelly advancing, trying to block it down. Fair old crack there by Terry Donnelly. That I thought was a foul. The referee, I think, allowed an advantage, and it was blocked in any case by Patterson. Leahy will take the 65, the second in this first half. That's on its way. It's a point. John Leahy has now got 3. So everything working like a dream so far for Tipperary. Paul McKillen at midfield, there with Aidan McCarry. Comes out to Donal Armstrong. Antrim, who need leadership from the likes of Barr and McFetrich. This is Brian Donnelly. They need a goal as well. Oh, McMullen couldn't connect. A ball going away from him. And that's Colin Bonner back there, trying to sweep it out of defence. And finally he concedes a 65, I think. Or is it a free? The referee says it's a free in. A free from the 20-metre line. Colin Bonner says, I just turned my back on him, referee. And the referee penalises Tipperary by making the free, or turning it into a more favourable free, shall we say. In front of the post, just a little to the right, Alcan McFetrich drives it over the crossbar. He's got a second point. Both of those have come from frees, but this is the man they look to for leadership. So almost on the call of half-time, Antrim fans bitterly disappointed, but Ken Hogan feeling maybe that he's got an All-Ireland medal half in his grasp already as the whistle sounds, bang on 35 minutes, and Tip, with a huge cheer from their fans, go in, the confident leaders, and she can smoke another one during half-time, happy in the knowledge that her team, with subs, delighted as well, and English, who contributed 7 points in the first half, Declan Ryan, who got the all-important goal. They go into the dressing rooms at half-time ahead by 1 goal and 13 points to Antrim's 5 points.
Yes, a half there, a tale of 2 goals. One that should have been, but wasn't for Antrim when Brian Donnelly had the goal chance. One that shouldn't have been, but was for Tipperary when Declan Ryan had the chance. Antrim with 5 wides in the half. They could ill afford those. Tipperary on top at midfield, and Nicholas English getting 7 points. He's the thorn. Bonner and Carr are the foundation.
They have waited 18 years down in Tipperary for the All-Ireland. They've only got another 35 minutes to go. The Liam McCarthy Cup is on its way back to Thurles. Or is it? The story continues after this commercial break. The Artane Boys Band have just been entertaining the crowd here at Croke Park at half-time. The Tipperary supporters, I suspect, need very little entertaining at this stage. Their team 11 points ahead right now, 113 to 5 points to score. What can Antrim do about it? Well, it remains to be seen in the second half. For the moment, we are going to enjoy the entertainment here at half-time at Croke Park. And about to entertain the crowds now is Johnny Carroll from County Galway, the man with the golden trumpet. Carroll has given a version of Slieve na Mon to stir the hearts of the Tipperary people, but right now it's a song for Antrim. Yes, the green fields of Antrim are calling to me, and I just wonder if the green fields of Antrim might not be calling home their team at this stage of the All-Ireland final, saying to them, well, it's going to be perhaps another day for you. Let me put that point to Liam O'Donoghue and to Dermot Healy. Liam, it really has been Tipperary, as I think we suspected it would be.
Well, Michael, Babs must be smiling at the moment because his team are playing tremendous hurling. They're playing exactly the way they want them to play. Their first every ball, number one. Number two is they're contesting with fierce determination. Their half-back line is on top, their centre fielder on top, and their half-forward line are on top. And actually, if you look today, it's their half-forward line has done the bulk of the scoring. They didn't even have to call on their full-forward line yet, and that's a tremendous boost to Tipperary.
Well, Liam, the big break for Tipperary came, I suppose, when they got that goal during that first half. They were on top, but it was the score that they needed to really kind of settle them into their stride. And let's have a look at it and talk us through it.
Yes, we see Declan Carr driving the ball across. Declan Ryan missed it, picked it up, took a shot for a point, but actually the ball seemed to dip and deceive the goalkeeper completely, and that was a goal that really lifted Tip at that stage, and Antrim seemed to fall away after that.
Dermot Healy, I suppose that's the look of the game. Declan Ryan must have been the most surprised man at Croke Park to see that go in the net. Antrim missed a few chances that might have put them ahead early in the game, and that's the way it seems to be going.
Yeah, they had a lot of wides early on, and they missed one or two goal opportunities. And if they had to get that, it would have spurred them on more. But at the moment, like Tip are outplaying them, and Tip have been very good hurling, as Liam was saying. And it's, you know, it would seem the game is going Tip's way.
Somebody here made the point, perhaps a little bit cruelly, that the four wheels seems to have fallen off Antrim's wagon. Can you see any way back for them?
Yeah, the four wheels may have fallen off. They're being badly beaten at the moment. But one thing I detected in Antrim was they're still hurling as if nothing happened. Like they're playing with fierce determination, still playing the same type as they're playing in the beginning. But Tip are improving as the game going on. They're getting more fluent and picking off their men. Their men are picking off the scores, and they seem unbeatable at this stage.
Well, there's one thing, Dermot and Liam, that we can definitely say about Antrim. They will not give up this game without a fight. They've come down here to win. If they don't win, they've come down to certainly give a good account of themselves. But let's see what happens. There's still 35 minutes of hurling to go. The second half about to begin. Let's rejoin Ger Canning.
Danny McNaughton has just indeed come into the Antrim team, and he's moved straight into midfield as a partner there to Paul McKillen. Danny, who scored a goal and 5 points in this year's Ulster final against Down, the first Ulster final for over 40 years. And a reminder of the score at half-time: Tipperary 113, that's 16 points, Antrim 5 points. And an interested spectator here this afternoon is Neil Kinnock, incidentally. There he is in the background, the Labour leader in Britain. enjoying his first All-Ireland hurling final. At least we trust he's enjoying it. Well, I think Dominic McMullen is the player who's made way for Danny McNaughton. So it's a straight switch at midfield. Brian Donnelly still operating at full forward. Kieran Barr out at right half forward. Start of the second half. This is the scene then. A packed Croke Park. Dominic McKinley. This is James McNaughton looking for a little space there from John Lahey. Down towards the aforementioned Brian Donnelly. Ball breaks loose, however, across towards Noel Sheehy. Flicks it away nonchalantly towards John Kennedy, trying to slip away from Kieran Barr. But it's a sideline cut. John Kennedy making the most of his opportunity. Missed the concluding stages of the league because of injury. And comes in today in place of Paul Delaney. Well, John, I think, expected it to be an Antrim sideline ball. Instead, it's going to be a tip ball, one feels. And Conor O'Donovan is going across, and it's a free. So the fullback whipping it out into the Antrim half-back line. Dominic McKinley beaten for it, but it's James McNaughton now back marking Nicky English. Leonard McKeegan. That was towards Aidan McCarry. This is Sambo McNaughton towards Elkin McFetridge. Antrim to get into the rhythm. McNaughton. Oh, that was one that could have done with. It may still come off. Kennedy back there, however, for Tipperary. Getting away from a would-be challenge, but not a good clearance. Straight to Aidan McCarry. Antrim pressing home. Good block, however, by Conal Bonner. Superb block down on the wing-back, and Kennedy half hitting it away, but only as far as Danny McNaughton. One of the fittest players in this Antrim team. That's Donal Armstrong. Antrim coming out for the second half as though they mean business. Looking for respectability and acceptance at this high level. That's McFetridge, and there was a push, and it's going to be a free in for Antrim, and a golden opportunity of another point for them. They certainly showed a lot of resolve in that burst. Donal Armstrong getting well by Noel Sheehy, and indeed it's a penalty. A penalty for Antrim. Yes, it was inside, but the referee signalling a penalty. A free by Bobby Ryan, or a foul by Bobby Ryan. Kennedy, Hogan and O'Donovan poised on the goal line. Aidan McCarry, who scored a penalty against Offaly. Can this bring them right back into it? It's stopped on the line by John Kennedy and whipped away. The Antrim fans numbed up on Hill 16, and the Tip fans raising their flags triumphantly once again. McCarry did as he did it against Offaly, simply threw it up, hit it wildly in there, stopped first of all by Hogan and cleared out by John Kennedy. A let-off for Tipperary, but a goal badly needed by Antrim and by this match, let it be said. Pat Fox. Nicely taken up here by Michael Cleary. Good running forward by Pat Fox, trying to advance inside the cover of Desi Donnelly, who fouled this man. The referee Pat Delaney signalling a free against Desi Donnelly. So a chance for the opening score of the second half after all the hustle and bustle down at the other end. English, will remind you, scored 7 points in the first half. And so his first of the second half. A huge gap to make up for Antrim. A solidly hit puck out there by Niall Patterson. Bobby Ryan letting it go by. And it's Conal Bonner. Lovely pick up here by Pat Fox. A little chip into space will test the pace of Michael Cleary, but it was just hit a little too hard even for him. Sideline ball for Antrim. Leonard McKeegan going back to take it. Desi Donnelly needing a new Hurley. That's the reason for the delay.
still haven't repaired midfield, and the Tip wing backs, Kennedy and young Conal Bonner, are really outstanding today. It's difficult to see Antrim really pulling anything out and getting into it, especially with Nicky.
Nicky beating James McNaughton. Inside towards Cormac Bonner. A goal, or is it? Yes! Nicky English, the one who put it away finally. Tipperary 2-14. Antrim a mere 5 points and 5 minutes gone in the second half. A goal and 8 points credited to Nicky English, the leader of the attack, going around James McNaughton that time, looking up then when he had that ball on his stick, trying to see what was inside. Cormac Bonner was the first who was there. Patterson came out, and it came out off the post, down to English, and alert English put it away smartly. Meanwhile, it's Danny McNaughton with a sideline ball for Antrim. Inside to Kieran Barr. Antrim's first wide of the second half, they're 6th in all. And what's turning out to be a bitterly disappointing day for Antrim. Danny McNaughton breaking it down towards Aidan McCarry. Conal Bonner meeting it and whipping it back into the Antrim defence, but out over the far sideline. Cormac Bonner, who might well have had himself his first score in this match. The goalpost denying him. He won't worry about individual scores. He's contributing handsomely up in the attack. Kennedy letting it run out to Gary O'Kane, now at wing back. Ulcan McFetridge under it, Clue trying to get a little piece of the action, but it's Conor O'Donovan getting it out into midfield. Carr beaten by McKillen, and that's Sambo McNaughton with Antrim's first point of the second half. Terence McNaughton, or Sambo as they know him, up in the Glens, his second point. John Lahey trying to hold on to that puck out from Ken Hogan. Well, just when Antrim had themselves a penalty down at the other end, which was stopped on the goal line, Tip within a couple of minutes in a breakaway get a goal at the other. Kieran Barr with Donal Armstrong, a little push in the back on Kieran Barr, the referee spots. One satisfied man, I'd imagine, at this stage, Michael Babs Keating. He took over the coaching of this side in 1986. When Tip were firmly in Division 2 of the league. Now 3 Munster Championships, and perhaps an All-Ireland as well. And that's wide of the target, off the stick of Ulcan McFetridge. Or a point rather, the flag has been raised, the point indeed credited to Ulcan McFetridge, and that is his third. Ken Hogan's puck out. Declan Ryan doing well on the 40. Paul McKillen with a nice block down by Declan Ryan. Terry Donnelly to the totally unmarked Colin Bonner. Look over his shoulder, it's blocked down by Danny McNaughton. And Antrim fans will begin to wonder just why McNaughton wasn't in from the very beginning of this match. English controlled and in control as always. Across to Lahey at wing forward. High. Dropping down and wide. An exaggerated build-up that time, and Lahey with plenty of time at his disposal. Tip's first wide of the second half, 9th in all.
But still, the slack marking is causing Antrim all sorts of problems. No hustle down on the Antrim bench. They mustn't have a sub capable of coming into this game. Kieran Barr's now trying his luck at centre-half forward on Bobby Ryan, but no joy for them around that whole midfield diamond. It really is a total problem area for Antrim. And their marking is slack. Look at the time again English had. Look at the ball he played to the left wing there. Lahey had all the time to have a look up. I know he missed the score, but it's Antrim's really at the root of the problems now. Slack marking, lack of concentration.
Conor O'Donovan with the free on his own 45-metre line. In towards Pat Fox, neatly taken up with the right hand. Back to Lahey to make amends, which he doesn't. Another wide by John Lahey, 2 in the space of a minute. Lahey with 3 points so far, one of those coming from a free. Declan Carr, Bobby Ryan here. Carr one-handed, and that's going to be an Antrim sideline ball. One of the Tipperary players based here in Dublin, making the long route for training each night. McFetrich there at top of the left once again against John Heffernan. McNaughton missing it completely. Confidence not high in the Antrim ranks just now as Paul McKillen gets it wide on that far side towards Danny McNaughton. It's blocked down well by Colin Bonner. Aidan McCarry, still McCarry. Oh, it's a goal! A goal which this game has needed, and McCarry is the one to supply it. Reminiscent of the one he got against Offaly as well. Tip's lead is pegged back somewhat by that goal which has come 11 minutes into the second half. McCarry rounding John Lahey, a goal in his mind, and wide across the face of the goal and into the far corner. McCarry's 3rd goal in this year's championship. Up at the other end is Cormac Bonner, outside the 20-metre line, seeking to respond, but he's put it wide, and the wides are mounting up, and Tip with 3 wides in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Niall Patterson, I'm sure, feels if Antrim can get another, who knows what could happen. Conal Bonner breaking it down as far as Kieran Barr. This is Sambo McNaughton across towards the man at top of the right, Donal Armstrong. Tight man-to-man marking all over the field. Early stages in the second half. John Lahey seeking to link up with Nicky English. It breaks out to Declan Ryan instead. Again looking for support. 2 Antrim men committing themselves, and that leaves a Tip man loose. On this occasion, English steadying himself, and it's wide of the target. 4 wides now in succession by Tipperary.
That's noteworthy that Nicholas English hits a wide, so he's a mere mortal too. The whole Antrim forward line has completely changed. McFetrich has gone full forward. Barr is centre half forward. McCarry is right half forward. McNaughton is left half forward. And only Donal Armstrong is playing where he began the match, top of the right. And he is a free now. McNaughton wants to use him. Joe.
As Antrim bid for a little bit more shape in their side, but it's Declan Carr who breaks it up towards Pat Fox. Getting inside, Desi Donnelly once again. Cormac Bonner calling for it. Fox going it on his own and putting it over the bar. His second point, Pat Fox's point. Coming 13 minutes into the second half. 21 points to 10. 2-15 for Tipperary. 1-7 for Antrim. McCarry again under the dropping ball there with John Kennedy. It's whipped on, however, by Colin Bonner up to Declan Ryan. Good ground hurling. Off the stick there of James McNaughton. McNaughton on a man-to-man marking job in the second half with Nicky English. English hasn't scored from play in the second half. His 1 point coming from a free. Lahey all concentration, cutting it up, a good deep penetrating one inside towards Pat Fox. Cormac Bonner there too. Leonard McKeegan trying to stymie the movement. It comes out to English, run into a high challenge from Danny McNaughton, I think, or from Dominic McKinley rather. It's McKinley is the one who commits the indiscretion. A high challenge right to the face that time. The centre half back having his name taken, and he becomes the first player in this final to have the name recorded by the referee. Watch it once again. English taking it up and then running straight into the high challenge, mouth high, and the referee right beside the action. So Nicky English with this simple tap over free. He's now scored a goal and 9 points. Well, he said after last year's final that it all really passed him by. This was one he wanted to remember and really play his full part. John Lahey foraging back in his own half-back line, a game competitor. McKinley getting it as far as Danny McNaughton. McNaughton buzzing around midfield, trying to get some momentum going for Antrim. But again, it's Cleary who advances to English outside the 45-metre line. Back inside towards Cleary, and it reaches him. Michael Cleary has put it over the bar, and he's got a second point. This Tipperary half-forward line has been very impressive this afternoon. Aided and abetted, it must be said, by a skillful and alert full forward line. Conall Bonner jumping with Terence McNaughton towards Kieran Barr. Blocked down by sheer commitment from Bobby Ryan and from John Lahey. And Carr says thank you and lifts the siege across towards James McNaughton's wing, getting there ahead of Nicky English. Cross towards Terence McNaughton again. Antrim striving to show some enterprise, and it's McKeegan from the halfway line, and he's put it over the bar. He was right on the halfway line when he struck that one over cleanly and sweetly. Antrim a goal and 8 now. Declan Carr getting that one with some difficulty. He's had an exemplary match at midfield. That's James McNaughton beating Nicky English to that ball, but it breaks out only as far as John Lahey selling dummies ahead of Gary O'Kane. The vision then to spot that English was in an advanced position towards Pat Fox. Sharp, elusive, and superb! The fans in the stands delighted as Pat Fox puts in Tipperary's third goal. A goal and 3 points now for the number 13. Again, English involved in the build-up. It really was superbly conceived. Fox in difficulty with 4 defenders beside him, but when he got the opening, he rounded it off in emphatic fashion. Superb Fox.
Yes, superb stuff, but not alone has Nicholas English contributed 1 goal, 9 points to the Tipperary tally. His running off the ball and his unselfish distribution has contributed enormously to the entire score of 3 goals and 17 points. It's English today at his composed best, I think.
Tip with 3-4 in the second half so far. Declan Ryan again on the 40, creating menace and havoc. And a free. Nicky English, it was forecast about him that he would have the best game he's ever had in the Tipperary colours, and he certainly is contributing handsomely. Antrim, meanwhile, have introduced another substitute, and coming into the game is Declan McKillop in place of Gary O'Kane. So McKillop in, O'Kane out. And English nonchalantly taps it over the bar, increasing his own personal tally. His side now ahead, 3-18 to 1-8. It breaks down towards McKillop straight away. This is McCarry. And Lahey foraging back there again on his own half-back line to Declan Carr. And the referee spotted a foul on Lahey. And we spotted there just a moment ago that Nicky English seemed to be limping just a little bit. And there's Joe Hayes, and he may well be in the action very shortly. Donny Nealon and Babs Keating there checking the watch. Theo English there as well. John Kennedy, the free taker. Michael Cleary telling him out of shot to drive it in deep. But Paul McKillen has read it well. Challenged by Nicky English. clearing to midfield. Conall Bonner, superb. I suppose if there were an award for the young player of the year, he would certainly be hot in the running. Declan Carr. Paul McKillen is again, he's played his heart out in the Antrim colours. And once again Fox tormenting. McKeegan selling a dummy, taking it out. Dominic McKinley calling for it. Lahey content just to let the Antrim man have possession. And it's McKillop stumbling and driving it downfield towards Elkin McFetrich, all the way as far as Ken Hogan. Colin Bonner under it at midfield, good catch. Superb midfield play being demonstrated by Tipperary this afternoon. They've been the masters the entire match so far. Beautiful skill. And Ryan taking that pass from Cleary, puts it over the bar. He's now got a goal and the point. The rot set in really after his goal in the 18th minute. People were predicting, I suppose since the semi-finals, that it would be an imbalanced final. Sadly, that's the way it's turned out to be. Kennedy. Desi Donnelly looking over his shoulder. Just look where Pat Fox was. Antrim now looking for a few more scores. McFetrich pulling on it. Comes out. And a goal! Another one! By Brian Donnelly. A game of 5 goals. Antrim's second has come from Brian Donnelly. 21 minutes into the second half. So, 10 minutes after their first goal from Beaver McCarry, that ball from Desi Donnelly causing trouble in defence with McFetrich trying to get onto it, and watch as it was set up by McCarry, finding Brian Donnelly, and he rattled it into the top of the net. Superb goal. A point at the other end by Declan Carr. 3:20 for Tipperary, Antrim 2-8. Fast and furious spell in this match just now. Conor O'Donovan, blocked down by Kieran Barr. Antrim bidding to stay in touch with some goals. This is Carr once again, industrious as always. Driven out by Dominic McKinley for Antrim. Towards McKillop. Beating him, however, is John Lahey. He's operated almost as an additional left half back for much of the second half, foraging down there. Declan Ryan with a fine right-handed catch. English ahead of him. Ryan with confidence, composure. And he's put it high and he's put it over the bar. He's satisfied now with a point, a goal and 2 points in all. The goal was yawning that time with over 12 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Cormac Bonner is the one who's going off, and Joe Hayes is the one who's coming on. And this was that latest score by Tipperary. Well, if it were a tighter game, I'm quite certain that Ryan would have gone for a goal. He had support, but he was content to tap it over the bar. Meanwhile, down injured, James McNaughton, in need of attention, back on his feet. Following that buck out, it comes off McCarry. Donald Armstrong down there. Brian Donnelly rather, the second goal scorer for Antrim. Bobby Ryan driving it out of defence, up towards Declan Ryan. McKillop once again trying to get it for Antrim, but it's Michael Cleary. Half-hit shot, Leonard McKeegan, solid at left half back throughout the game. From Declan McKillop. Towards Danny McNaughton, and a disappointed Danny, who's been part of the Antrim action for nearly a dozen years now. Very much the veteran of the side, injured for the All-Ireland semi-final. Conall Bonner's sideline cut towards Declan Ryan, runs on towards Pat Fox. Outside to Declan McKillop. Kept in play by Elkin McFetrich, could have been anywhere, and it's John Heffernan who drives it out of a jittery defence just now. Colin Bonner towards Nicky English. English with a goal and 10 points. Oh, a lovely change of direction. Linking up with Joe Hayes just in the action. Slipping at the critical moment, giving Terry Donnelly just a piece of the action out as far as Declan Ryan. and the slack clearance is punished in emphatic style. Declan Ryan has contributed a goal and 3 points. So the scores amass, and that's Joe Hayes. Fitting that he should come in to share in what looks like a Tipperary victory.
Joe Hayes, and it's nice to see him in. Nice to see a man who's contributed so much over the past few years to them. Just watch for a second here as Antrim try to mount something that could kill him. Difficult for Antrim to get back into this game. We hear a lot of criticisms recently of referees. One thing that's got to be said today is that Pat Delaney from Laois has had an almost error-free game. Let's praise them when they don't have errors, just as we criticise them when they do. But the behaviour and attitude of the teams has helped amazingly well. There hasn't been a dirty stroke in the entire match.
A match which is now just a little over 9 minutes still to go. Tip 3:22, Antrim 2:8. Terence McNaughton. John Heffernan coming up to take this sideline ball for Tipperary. Towards Bobby Ryan. Ryan always part of the action. Conal Bonner there, and Antrim about to bring in Mickey Sullivan from the St Paul's Club in Belfast. Antrim with just about 9 senior clubs in their county, so a small selection of players to choose from. The high challenge from James McNaughton there on Nicky English results in a free-in for Tipperary. Donny O'Connell, who served Tipperary loyally and faithfully over the last few years, is about to share in the action as well, it seems. Donny Nealon there beside him. Meanwhile, it's Nicky English. And that's gone sailing over the crossbar, as so many others have done. He's now got a goal and 11 points. And the big cheer greets Donny O'Connell. Donny O'Connell, the second of the Tipperary substitutes. So he comes in, and just looking around to see who may have gone off. It may well be John Lahey has tired himself off. That would seem to be the case. Meanwhile, it's Terence McNaughton. James McNaughton to Kieran Barr, low inside towards Donald Armstrong, and Conor O'Donovan read it superbly, got there, and now bids to keep it away from Malcolm McFetridge. Who did he throw that one? It's John Kennedy. Towards Donny O'Connell, James McNaughton. We're in tune with the match because he's been on for the entire 63 minutes so far. Here's Joe Hayes without the stick. Still Joe Hayes, stickless. Antrim regrouping with James McNaughton. Terence McNaughton down towards Kieran Barr. And it's with Beaver McCarry. A little trip that time as the fullback was coming out, and it's going to be a free from the 20-metre line. A good run forward that time. Full of style and full of pace by Aidan McCarry. Donald Armstrong there inquiring as to the well-being of Antrim's number 11. Watch it again. It was a good run, and Tips fullback Conor O'Donovan came out, tripped him on the 20-metre line. Pat Delaney then, an ordinary 20-metre free. And Aidan McCarry will be the free taker. And at this stage, I wonder whether he will go for another goal. 6 minutes to go. A goal attempt is blocked down by John Kennedy and a combination of the other backs. Still Kennedy, stopped by Terence McNaughton, looking over his left shoulder, soloing forward. Colin Bonner. Declan Carr. And Carr once again to carry that ball forward into Antrim territory, one of the great skills of hurling. Donny O'Connell picking it up. It's again trying to raid on the Antrim backline, and that's Mickey Sullivan. Just in as a substitute for Antrim, and the referee perfectly positioned to spot the foul on Mickey Sullivan. St. Paul's, the club of Jim Nelson, the team manager. Free quickly taken, and it's gone over the bar. A good point, which has been scored there by Declan McKillop. So with 5 minutes to go, it's very much as predicted. Tip have been the masters virtually from the beginning. Conall Bonner towards Donny O'Connell, Joe Hayes, the two Tipperary substitutes, with some of the Tip fans already coming in to celebrate their success. Time still remaining, still Hayes. Fox was waiting inside, fouled, and I wonder, is it another penalty? Well, the referee signals that it is a free in, and the Tip fans at this stage won't particularly worry what particular brand of free it's going to turn out to be. Pat Delaney confirming that there are 4 minutes to go, with substitute Declan McKillop there. An ordinary 20-metre free, or no, it's a penalty, indeed, yes. The backs, just 3 on the goal line. Desi Donnelly, Niall Patterson and James McNaughton. The second penalty of the match, and Nicky English taps it over the bar. That was the plan. If they were sufficiently ahead, he was going to be the one who would take the penalties. He's now got a goal and 12. Time remaining just in the right-hand corner of your screen. And Tip making a third and final substitute. Michael Cleary's gone off, and Aidan Ryan has come on to share in the victory. And I think with each and every one of the substitutions Tip have made in the second half, it's been a question of giving players who deserved it a fair old run in this All-Ireland final success. Indeed, there were others whom they might well have brought on, but limited to 3, and the 2 subs taken off, both of them smiling because they realised they played their full part. Very much a team performance, a panel performance. Tip with about 24 of 5 players in their panel. Superbly fit, tribute no doubt to Phil Conway's great training, as Noel Sheehy gets it out of defence, but only as far as Paul McKillen, and it's Salka McFetrich looking for another score, down off Conor O'Donovan and away by Conall Bonner, who's been magnificent. Tip with so many heroes this afternoon. Their attitude was A1. They might well have gone into this match believing much of the publicity that all they had to do was turn up, and then turn up in Thurles in Semple Stadium for the victory celebrations tomorrow night, but they certainly did the business. 2 minutes remaining as Desi Donnelly chips it in. It comes down off the goalkeeper, and it's another goal. It's another goal for Antrim. A goal by Donal Armstrong, I think, is the one who got it. Ken Hogan was the one who dropped it down, and Donal Armstrong gets a third goal for Antrim, putting a bit more respectability on that scoreline. Desi Donnelly, a difficult one for Ken Hogan. Couldn't quite hold on to it, and watch as it broke out to the man coming in on the right, and that was Donal Armstrong. So just over a minute to go, and Tip, who won the first All-Ireland in 1887, seem poised to maintain their record of having won the championship in every decade. Kieran Barr tussling with the other captain, Bobby Ryan. Bobby breaking the stick, calling for a replacement up towards his brother Aidan Ryan. Leonard McKeegan there for Antrim. Mickey Sullivan there with the red helmet for Antrim, and it's Declan Ryan, one of Tip's goal scorers. Paul McKillen. Aidan Ryan, who shared in their monster triumphs. On to Nicky English. Oh, it's a bullet! It's a superb goal! An exquisite shot. Precision shooting from English. And as the seconds tick down and the fans come in, There can be only one result. Aidan Ryan supplied the ammunition, and watch this for a volley finish from one of the greatest strikers in the game at the moment. English number 15 met it first time. Wham! Top of the net. Superb goal.
Well, I forecast at the start of this programme before a ball was struck that English would have the game of his life in the big time. 2 goals, 11 points. I think I was right.
Well, it's been a devastating afternoon where Tipperary are concerned in their mentors and substitutes. That's it! Tipperary are the champions. The famine is well and truly over, and Tip's hunger is fulfilled. The team that Babs built, aided by Theo Andoni, has bridged an 18-year gap as Tip win. The final score was Tipperary, 4 goals and 24 points. Antrim, a disappointing team this afternoon, 3 goals and 9. Well, there was some devastating stuff in that second half, some great goals as well. None better, surely, than that clinical and classic finish by English, who ended up with a personal tally of 2 goals and 12 points. And so Tipperary, with that final score, are the champions for the 23rd time. The McCarthy Cup returns to the Premier County.
Remarkable performance by Tipperary. Antrim came with the right attitude, some very good players, but not enough good players to keep it closer than double scores. Who is going to be the man of the match? Well, the 2 Bonners, particularly young Connell and Collum, were outstanding. So was John Kennedy, Declan Carr. But Nicholas English scored 2 goals and 12 points. That's 18 points, which exactly equals Antrim's total for the entire game. I do not pick the man of the match, but if I were, I'd have no doubt about it. A feast of an artistic hurling from Tipperary, but Antrim's attitude made it the spectacle it was. They didn't stoop low, they didn't try anything underhand, they came out to play and give us a game that hurling, and sport in general, has wanted all through 1989. And there's the man who takes over from Tygo O'Connor as the last Tipperary man to receive the Liam McCarthy Cup. There'll be some celebrations done in Borrisoleigh after this. One of the great servants of Tipperary hurling, Bobby Ryan. That's Cormac Bonner as Bobby goes up to receive the Liam McCarthy Cup. Ger, what a moment.
Yes, indeed, it was Bobby Ryan's day, no question about that. But let's give credit to people like Babs Keating and Theo English and Donny Neelan and Phil Conway, who had the side looking alert and sharp, and the county board who provided all the necessary encouragement and diligent hard work. Young Declan Ryan thriving this afternoon. And people like Noel Morris and Tommy Barrett, who fought long and hard in the interest of Tipperary hurling. They deserve their place in the sun. And mention also for Michael Lowry, who was responsible for bringing Babs in as team manager, and the supporters club who raised the finance to ensure the team was properly prepared. People like Dennis O'Connor who did the Trojan work. But most of all, it's the Tipperary team themselves as Antrim go down to greet their fans up on Hill 16. A moment we'll all remember. But they had to give second best on a day when Tipperary were simply magnificent. John Dowling to make the presentation.
Our son coming Lucas Gale, August Ermahun Fain, Boalum, Nukagarjak and Goal, they're for in Tibredoran and you. It is my great pleasure, on behalf of Central Council of the GAA, to compliment and congratulate Tipperary on a magnificent victory here today in Croke Park. It is only proper that I should congratulate their good captain Bobby here for the manner in which he has shown the good way over the years. And I would like to congratulate each and every one associated with this Tipperary success. I think each and every one of you gathered here today would expect me to salute the men of Antrim. They have played a wonderful part . They have played a wonderful part in what was an excellent game and particularly most sporting. I would like to thank the referee, the umpires, the linesmen, and all associated with our game here today. Agus Sinish, Bogarjin to the Reach Bobby, Agus on Shin, Corn McCarthy, Gotti Tipperary.
Like his uncle, Pat Stakelin 40 years ago, Bobby Ryan receives the McCarthy Cup. Tipperary have bridged an 18-year gap. They are the worthy champions. And these Tip fans have travelled the country in support of their team, with Nicky English superb, will always remember this terrific occasion.
Ultron, Ard Asbug, Winter Hibridorn, Winter and Tushkart, August a Cordigal. Near Cap May Reeve, Gomayan Shaw, the Ordano Hogain, the Bark on Crokick, or Lashaw. Is more on an Ordum, Behown and you. Walum Seb, Wiekis a Goal, Legok Dinner. But more, Winter, Lockmore Castellini. I hope on chance more doing in you. Mr. President, Archbishop, people of Tipperary, and people of Antrim. And my fellow Gaels, it is a great honour for me to accept the Liam McCarthy Cup on behalf of this wonderful Tipperary team. There are a number of people I would especially like to thank. Firstly, the people of Lockmore Castellini, who have given me the greatest honour in my hurling career. Especially also to three men who I feel have done more for Tipperary hurling since they've retired in all the years they did while they were playing. To Babs, Donny and Theo, I say simply, thank you very much. To our trainer, Phil Conway, for all the work he has put in, and the backroom team, they've been fantastic. To our county board and to our supporters club, I think this is what we set out to achieve 3 years ago when you formed your supporters club. And hand in hand with the county board, you've looked after the players 100%. And on behalf of the players, I would just like to say simply once again, thank you very much. Also, to our thousands of supporters who have travelled here today, who have travelled to Croke Park on numerous occasions, and to Mullingar also. I say to you, thank you very much, and I'm sorry it took 18 years to come back here. To our supporters, cross seas, I would just like to say, I know you're looking in here today, I know you'd love to be here. Our thoughts are with you, and wherever you are tonight, be proud to be Tipperary. It's great to be from Tipperary. My final wish has to go to the men of Antrim, because I think they have brought something special to Croke Park today. They have done so much for the game of hurling up there. And it's my wish, and I'm sure it's the people of Tipperary's wish, that their day will come soon. So with that, I would like to have 3 rousing cheers from the gallant men from the Glen. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
The Antrim players there in the background, disappointed, but to their credit, they stayed on for the speech making. And Bobby Ryan there paying tribute to the Lockmore Castellini team. Pat McGrath, we caught a quick glimpse of him.